I'm Russell Alexander. Welcome. Today we're going to talk about child support obligations and effects of the pandemic on people's incomes, especially support payers. So we recently were interviewed by the Globe and Mail, and we're kind of predicting that this is going to be the next wave in cases. We've got cases that are looking at custody and access arrangements in light of COVID-19 and the pandemic, parents concerned about safety. Those cases are usually determined as to whether or not it's an urgent or an emergency matter. If it's urgent or an emergency, the court will deal with it and make some orders, especially if there's an existing order that's not being followed. The next wave of questions we're going to start getting from our clients, and we're starting to get them already, is what do we do about child support? Lots of people have lost their jobs as a result of the pandemic. The governments are trying to put in economic measures to ease the pain, to provide subsidies and wage subsidies for income earners. That may help bridge the gap when it comes to issues of child support. When we look at child support, sometimes we look at the custody arrangement. Is it split custody, shared custody? Is there sole custody? Typically, child support is adjusted each year, usually around June or July, when people get their notices of assessment from the Canada Revenue Agency. What we typically do then is we look at line 150 of the income, of the notice of assessment, and then we apply the child support guidelines to that income, and that gives us the figure for child support. Obviously, this may be different for self-employed people or people who own their own businesses and have certain expenses that they write off. But if you're a T4 employee, generally we review your child support obligation each year, and if you're the recipient of the child support, we review that as well. Section 9 of the child support also looks at set-off child support. So if there's a shared parenting arrangement, usually we look at both parents' incomes, household budgets, the budget that's required to care for the child and those expenses. And sometimes we'll do a set-off in child support, looking at both incomes and the table amounts for both parents. In that situation, the child support may be a little bit less than the guideline. In terms of the cases, there's lots of jurisprudence out there that talks about people being underemployed or intentionally underemployed. Courts will impute income to them. If a support payer goes to the court and says, I'm unemployed or underemployed, and if the court finds that is an intentional conduct on their part, not a result of the pandemic, it's likely that child support is going to be ordered to continue. We're going to see some probably new cases and new case law coming out. If you brought a child support application before the court today, this is being filmed in April, it's unlikely the court would consider that to be an urgent matter. Court will likely adjust support retroactively when it resumes hearing cases, a full caseload. Right now, they're only dealing with emergency matters. That's usually involving existing custody orders, existing access orders, depletion of property, and other urgent matters. It's unlikely right now that the court would consider child support to be an urgent matter. So if you brought it to the court before the court, there's a good chance that application or that motion is going to be dismissed. Now, if this pandemic goes on for several months, as they're predicting, and supporting payer incomes continue to drop, the court may revisit whether or not it's urgent or an emergency matter. If you're subject to enforcement proceedings by the Family Responsibility Office, if your driver's license is going to be suspended, or if, they're going to threaten a jail proceeding or other measures that they have, the court may then step in, make a refraining order, start treating these support issues as urgent. Currently, we don't see it in the near future given the available judicial resources that are available to hear cases. We hope this helps. Be safe. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the box below. We're going to be assembling everybody's questions and comments each week and doing a separate video on those. If you like this video, hit the like button and share it with your friends. A little bell will show up. You can hit that button to get notified of videos we have coming up. Thank you for watching this video, and be safe.